Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Monday night Zoom edition, and I've got some new people on board, so that's exciting. We're gonna get right into it. Let's check out Bitcoin. So let's see if I can. Okay, you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin 5-minute chart.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's scroll out to the day. Look at all my funky writings. Let's go to the 4-hour. I always seem to do that. All right, so even though I'm a day trader, I like to get the big picture first and then work my way down to the 5-minute chart. So as you can see on the 4-hour chart, Bitcoin it was pumping up, hit the all-time high a couple days ago on the 20th, and took about a 10% drop, and then it's coming back up. So just under 63,000 at the moment. I've drawn this trend line. Looks like Bitcoin dropped, bounced. It might want to bounce again, or it might shoot up, but it's got, it's got the all-time high here, and then it's trending back up. So it's got to make a move fairly soon. So before we take any day trade or any trade of any kind, we always want to check out Bitcoin first. So on the 1-hour, yeah, we've had a couple percent move in the last, say, 36 hours, up to about almost 7%, then drop a little bit. So it was trending up and then dropped a little bit in the last hour. On the 5-minute, I hardly ever trade Bitcoin as a spot trade, so this isn't something I look at very often, but I know some people do like to trade Bitcoin just because the volume's always good on almost any exchange. So that's pretty cool. We had the Bitcoin ETF last week. I think that was probably the prime reason behind the big Bitcoin increase. Anything that makes Bitcoin more accessible to the masses, even if it's wealthy people buying ETFs, then that's a good thing. All right, so that's Bitcoin. I'm gonna bounce over to Ethereum. We'll go to the 4-hour chart. And I had updated this, but it didn't save. So I'm gonna move this trend line over here. And it looks pretty similar to Bitcoin. It's coming back up, drop, up, drop, up, drop. I'd like to see a higher high here and lower lows. We have some lower lows, so that's a good sign if you're interested in a Bitcoin pump. For some of you new people in here, I do a lot of leverage trading. We're going to be talking spot trading mostly tonight, but I do a lot of leverage, and I have a 2-week long short position in Ethereum, and it's my joke that whenever I buy a short position, the market shoots up. So not only did we have the ETF announcement last week, but I'm in a 2-week long Ethereum short. So that's the other thing that's propping up the market. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'm taking one for the team on that. So all right, so Ethereum.
Appreciate your contribution.
I do what I can. So, but yeah, Ethereum did touch on the all-time high and then dropped immediately, and hasn't. It's been about $150 short of that since. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum moving up pretty well in the last week or so. The 1-hour, get a little closer. Yeah, I don't know if this bounce will continue or if it'll come and test this trend line again. We'll have to see. All right, any questions on the overall market or Bitcoin and Ethereum before we move over to Altcoin Alert? All right.
There was a second ETF that funded Friday and opened today.
Really? Tell me about
Bitcoin.
that.
Yeah, and there should be a third one this week as well. And that first ETF hit $1 billion in the second day.
Yeah, it was
the most traded ETF, the highest ever recorded. Valkyrie, the second ETF that got approved, was actually the first one to be approved. I don't know why they gave it to a Hotbit or whoever.
Really?
Yes, Valkyrie was first approved. Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought it was second.
And if
right.
y'all didn't know, the same day back came out, and on the same day they kept it quiet. They didn't tell anyone. It was at $8. Gave a bunch of time for their Nancy Pelosi and everybody to get in, and look what
Oh.
happened to it today. Those are the same owners of the ICE, Intercontinental Exchange. They own the New York Stock Exchange.
All right,
Yep.
guys. Well, we have a special guest today. Brooklyn T. Guy is in the house, one of the AA ambassadors. So good to have
Oh,
Brooklyn
stop
aboard.
it.
He's just so
Well-
darn modest.
Well, there's a third one, so maybe that's a third one coming this week. So maybe that's why Bitcoin's still rocking.
Yeah, that would explain it. Because I know a lot of these larger Bitcoin companies have agreements with miners and people like out of the exchanges necessarily, but that's got to dry up at some point. I mean, the main point of Bitcoin is that it's scarce. So if we keep getting higher demand like this for Bitcoin, it's got to push the prices up. We'll still have the 5 or 10%, maybe even 15% drawbacks. The whales are still out there, but those will get gobbled up pretty quickly by some of these bigger organizations. It's gonna be very interesting to see how long this ETF thing will keep Bitcoin pumping up. Most experts think throughout this last quarter of 2021, maybe into early 2022, but I'll defer that to the CryptNation guys, Bryce and Pizza Mind and other people. And I day trade anyway, so it doesn't matter a whole lot to me necessarily what the giant picture is, but I do want to know what's going on that particular day.
It's not going to matter for the day traders yet, because all these ETFs, the futures, remember, they're just futures. When they hit the spot Bitcoin ETF, that's when we'll see stabilization up in the higher, 100 grand.
Yeah, what Brooklyn's talking about is they're mostly contracts on Bitcoin. So what a lot of these are. So on the values of Bitcoin, but when
they still have to buy Bitcoin and store it somewhere, and that's where the miners come in.
Correct. So that's what I was getting to, but that's cool. I don't want to spend any more time on this. So let's get to Altcoin Alert. I know we have some new people on here who want to talk about it. So yeah, Patrick is all right, good. All righty. So here's the Altcoin Alert, Altcoin Radar. When you first log in, you'll see this dashboard and probably the easy mode on. This is a fairly recent development in the last month or so. I don't like this. I want all the information, so I never look at this. If you want a quick look at what's available to you through Altcoin Alert, this is fine, but I don't like it. So I'm going to what I want to see. I want to see everything. So this has all the various sorts that are available to us and the AA score. I always start with the AA score, try to find out what's very bullish and function accordingly. So right now we have Internet Computer with an AA score of 87.2 and Axie slightly below it with 85.2. And I'm going to bring those up. We'll look at Axie first, actually, because I was looking at this earlier and actually traded it briefly. So, all right. So, who in Altcoin Alert bought this and thought it would just tell you what to do? Who thought that? Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, and but I know that's frustrating for a lot of people that it doesn't quite work that way. I wish it did, and I know many of us in leadership here have spoken about their marketing and suggest that there's more to it than just seeing an AA score and jumping in right away. You can do it that way. And to be candid, I had some success last year when I bought into this in July and August. And, I didn't do much analysis, even though I had a day trading background. I'd been day trading for 8 or 9 months when I first got into this. But I found after about a month or two that it was better if I did apply some technical analysis to get better entry points. And the exit points weren't difficult for me because as a day trader, I'm only looking for getting 2, 3, 5% anyway. That's all I'm looking to get. So I don't care if I sell something with a 3% profit, if that's my goal, and then it goes up 10 or 20%, I don't care about that because I had a plan, I executed the plan. It's all good.
So CJ, how do you select your coins? I think, I mean, you know, I suspect everyone I talk to, it's like, well, I'm leaning toward ETH, I'm leaning toward Bitcoin. So we're all in one of those camps. But then when you get past that, right, there's just a big difference in how people approach it. So, you know, 15,000 altcoins or whatever the number is out there is ridiculous. How are you picking the coins that you're following? I'd like to get your thought process.
Sure. I look at a couple on the AA score. We're gonna do a couple sorts too. And AA is just one of my information sources. I think when you're first starting, it's good just to have 1 or 2. I've been doing this 2 years, so I've got 5 or 6 that I use. But today I'm just focusing on day trading with Altcoin Alert and iCoinPro. One of the coins I've been looking at today is Axie, and that's because I got a good AA score on it this morning, and the AA score improved later in the day, so I looked at it again this afternoon, and we're going to look at it right now. Actually, I've got the chart up. You guys seeing my 5-minute chart for Axie?
Yes.
All right, good. So this is my basic trading view chart. If you want to know how I set up my charts, do a search through YouTube or look at Patrick's list of my videos. You can do Crypto CJ Trading View and it should come up. This is mostly what I learned from iCoinPro. We'll talk about that a little later. I've got my candles with the Bollinger Bands, which includes an SMA line, and I've added the 200 MA, a moving average. It's also the RSI. I've added a divergence indicator and MACD. So really all you need to start are Bollinger Bands, RSI, and MACD. I've also added this one, Money Factor Index. So this one probably won't be on my video because I added this recently. And there's a lot of overlap with these, but we're looking for, you know, momentum, volume, price action, things like that to make good decisions about where we enter trades. And price action is mostly what I use. And for that, we're going to look at the Bollinger Bands. At the moment for Axie, this is what I call a squeeze, you know, just like it sounds. Just like it sounds, it's kind of squeezy. This is a bubble. For those of you who are new, I sent you a free training called the 1, 2, 3 dip training. Don't know if you had a chance to look at that yet, but my favorite thing to do is to buy a dip and get out on a retrace. I don't really have a good example of this right in front of me. So when we encounter one, I'll point that out. But another option is strong candle action trending up. So if I set an alert up here, you know, for a trend trade, if this looks like it wants to come back to this, see where it was high up to 140, you know, at 6 o'clock this morning, you know, I'd love to get in right here and ride that up to that 140 and pick up 4%. That's good stuff to me. I'd probably set my sell order a little bit below that, just below like 139.9. You know, it's like buying something at the 99-cent store, slightly below $1. So that's my goal on a trend to trade for this. Now, if I want to catch this on a dip trade, got some short-term support right around here. See where all these candles are clumped down or clumped together? That's at about 125. So another option would be to set an alert at 125 and reevaluate. So I'm going to right click here, add an alert. I like round numbers on my alerts. So, and you can call it something too. So I'm calling a dip. So Axie crossing 125. So I've got 2 alerts set on this this AA situation. If I can catch it here on a dip trade, I'll look to do that. If it's trending up, it's bouncing off this Bollinger Band or SMA line and trending up, I'll try to catch that trend. So these are and then I'll try to catch that trend all the way to one of these areas of what we call resistance. There's some resistance here at 135, there's some more here, 137, some more here, 139.40. So I already talked about that as a resistance point. So that's in a nutshell what I do, when I'm really on the ball with my AA score. So any questions on Axie? We'll go ahead and do this on a couple more. All right. Let's go back to Altcoin Alert. The other one we had with a high score. I'm usually looking for scores 85 or higher. High 80s and 90s are good. So, and just to be clear, a lot of times there are contradictions between the AA score and what you see in some of these other columns, these other values. The purpose of the AA score is to try to predict something that's about to move. So with this 87.2 tells us is there's an 87% chance that ICP is going to move up 3% or more in the next 72 hours. That's how things have been explained. And so 3% trade, that's pretty good for a day trader. And since I use leverage a lot, I'm going to multiply that by 5 or 10x leverage, and that would be a really good trade. So let's look at ICP.
So I just want to make sure I understand this 80% threshold. So that's based on some modeling that's being done by a number of different groups with different kinds of objectives, and they're all coming together and getting a score of 80 plus is ideal. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, and if you toggle to this question mark, it'll give you a little bit of information about it. So it's an algorithm. It uses technical indicators and also incorporates the sentiment scores, which are derived from essentially Twitter. So what's unique about AA is it's combining technical analysis, like I just showed you on the charts, with what's the word on the street, and the word on the street in crypto is usually what's going on Twitter. So that's what it's trying to combine, and it's going back in the past and looking at similar situations with these projects, and then giving us a percentage as to its chance of going up 3% in 72 hours. So that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
So,
In the 1 hour range.
I got 3 questions at once. I think Jim, go ahead. Jim Fleming.
Explain this, the 1 hour projected range numbers.
This is a very short term. I do incorporate this in other sorts, but I don't rely on it in and of itself. And here's why, because it gives you an upper of 3.29%, a lower projection of 2.67%. So the median, the average is 0.3. This one's intriguing. I haven't seen this one this high. On Lena,
talked about that.
yeah, on Lena, this one just showed up on here. This wasn't here an hour ago when I was preparing for this.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty high. And if I can get a value of 5% or more, on the upper, that's something I'm going to look at. So I might look at this and trade this now. So I think I'm going to skip ICP and go to Lena.
So is this saying it could go up, 28, 29%, or it could go down 14%, but
That's
we
right.
figured the average is going to be 7?
Yep.
Okay.
So I view that as like a 2 and 3 chance roughly of doing something good in the next hour. I'm a day trader, not an hour trader. So I don't mind waiting a few hours for my trade to resolve, but an hour is better. So let's check it out.
Why with the thumbs down on the activity and the sentiment? I don't understand how some of them have they're going up and it's bullish, the other ones are going down and it's bullish.
Okay, this
Like
is a
linear
Yeah, this is the point I was trying to make before. Well, I didn't make it very well because what I should have added is that these AA scores that are high like this, a lot of times are coins that have been beaten down and starting to show signs of life. So you get
Okay.
a very bullish, and you get, like on Lena, you get poop on trading activity because it's been beaten down and it hasn't come back as fast as the others have.
Which due
So
to come up.
yeah, this one's trying to predict the future. Most of these other columns are telling you what's happening now. Or, this is trying to predict the future in like 3 days. The others are, shorter periods of time. So you'll see contradictions all the time. So remember that, the AA score is trying to predict, and usually it's something that's taken a dip and it's due to come back. So
What about
and-
KCS, the KuCoin?
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at that and thinking that looks like that ought to be strong. From
yeah,
what- from
and
what-
it's already had some recovery already. So over here, it's up 12% today.
Right.
So, and it's bullish, but it's not super bullish. So it was higher earlier today, if I remember right. I think
Okay.
this was in the high 70s or low 80s earlier today. So it's dropped down some of the AA score because it's had a pretty good day.
In other words, you might have missed it. You
Yeah.
just need to evaluate it.
Yeah, it might be too late for that one. The ICP is also up 12%, and I just saw a big spike on that, a little while ago. So it might be too late for that one too. But some of these that are, say, 8 to 10% and have good AA scores, and the trading activity starting to come back, those are some that you can catch for some decent results. So, all right. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. All right, let's go to Lena.
And the other thing we've noticed for some of the new people that frequently, correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, when these numbers come out, the AA scores are high, they actually tend to sometimes dip first and then they go up.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. It's not necessarily meaning it's going to go up right away. It
Right.
just means it's going to go up at some point during that time period.
Yeah, and the proprietors say it's 3 days, it's usually 72 hours that it should go up. So it's very common to buy it and then have it drop. And that's why I do videos about ladder buying, which is like dollar cost averaging. If you want to make a second purchase and improve your odds if that happens. It happened to me on Saturday. I bought something that had a high AA score and it went down, so I bought it. Well, I'll talk about that one a little later. But I tried to make a second purchase, but didn't go down enough. It just sort of hung in limbo between my below where I bought my first one, and it didn't drop enough for where I wanted it to for my second one. So that's a little frustrating, but those things happen. On the plus side, it didn't totally dump. All right, on Lena, we'll go out to the day, and looks like in May it was 15, 16 cents in April and May. Took that big drop like a lot of those coins did, came back to about 6 cents in August, dropped again. Now it's hanging around 5.2 cents. On the hour chart, we had nearly 6 cents a few days ago. We're getting mostly lower highs and lower lows, so it's trending down. But coming back up today, which is hence the high AA score. So on the 5-minute chart, I'm not seeing a really good entry. We're already towards the top of the Bollinger Band, which was bubbling, and then it's starting to squeeze together a little bit now. But we've only got less, well under 2% between the two. So this is still technically a bubble, or I mean a squeeze. So we don't have a lot of quite the momentum action we would like to see on Lena at the moment. That's okay. As far as an entry point, we've got some short-term support right around here. You know, 5.1 cents. So if you want to trade this one, I would probably put an alert down here. I don't know if the trend is strong enough to try to catch a trend up, but it might. You might want to put alert up here somewhere too. So if it can punch through this, there's a little bit of resistance here. If it can punch through this, it might be worthwhile to put an alert right around 0.053 in this vicinity here, and see if it punches through and keeps going up. So those are the two ways the two entry points I try to make on these AA score coins. Look to try to buy at support, even though this is short term, it's only 5 minutes on the 5-minute chart, or look for something that's above the SMA line, which is this halfway line between the Bollinger Bands, and then catch something that's trending up. So, any questions on Lena? I'm not very good at looking at the chat, so sometimes you guys, if I don't get to you, you know, just go ahead and speak up. Okay, to this dashboard. Okay, guys. Oh, I'm on TradingView, tradingview.com. I've also got a TradingView link, so you can email me for that, and I'll send it to you. You can get this for free, but it's the free version is very limited. If you're a serious trader, you should at least get the $15 a month version, which I think is the Pro version. I'm on Pro Plus, which I pay for annually, and there's one above that too, like Pro Platinum, but the middle one's sufficient for me. Yeah, and looks like Patrick has some instructions on the spreadsheet. So Patrick is a superhero in this group. He has a list on a spreadsheet of all the videos I've done and their subject matters, and it's easily searchable. So if you guys want that, if you're new, go ahead and email me at cryptocj13@gmail.com. You guys should all have that address, and I'll send it to you. I'm due for an update in November, so I usually update it once a month. But that's a place you can find your trading view information. All right. Any other questions on Lena before I move on to a sort? All right. So we have the AA scores, but we can also sort on any of these columns here. Trading activity, if you want to focus on just the fundamentals, you know, the technical analysis, you can do that. If I do a sort based on one of these other columns, I usually want an AA score to accompany with this of being neutral or better. It's not necessarily a deal breaker. A high bearish, like this 37.8, if everything else looked good, I'd probably still look at that. But generally speaking, I'm looking for neutral or better on the AA score. You know, just sorted by trading activity, a sort by social activity. You know, so if I'm sorting by social activity, I want the neutral here. I want, you know, neutral or better on trading activity, and some at least neutral scores in some of these other columns. So yeah, CRV is interesting, but it's already up 40%, which is why it's got the very bearish, you know, score here. So I'm not going to bother with that. GRT.
That was the one that Price was hot on. He predicted that was going to pump before the end of the year.
Yeah, it's up almost 10% today, so not bad. Neutral here, fire on trading activity and social activity. This is kind of low. I'd like to see this at 5% or higher, but again, not a deal breaker. Neutral on the Elder Impulse, which is a combination of technical indicators. You put the cursor here and see what it is if you want to read up on that. And bullish on the Elder Daily, bullish on long-term sentiment. I like those. So I think GRT is worth a look. Let's check it out. I've got this in my list. I do trade this from time to time. So go. Let's look at the day, get the big picture. Okay. Back in April, well over $2, lost half its value. Coming back, and like Robert said, it's been trending up. Had a really good day today. Pumped a couple days ago, dipped, and then pumped again some more. Got a little dip here this morning, but it's recovered most of that on a 5-minute chart. Yeah, this is intriguing. It's kind of riding the SMA line. Hasn't dropped through it in a few hours. So this might be support.
I love trading waves.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I love trading it when when it's on waves like that above the SMA line.
Yeah, that can be lucrative. I've done that before and just tried to pop 1% and 2% when it hits the SMA line. It just gives me like even a flicker of a green candle, and then I pounce on it and just ride it to the top of the Bollinger. You know, pick up 1% or 2%, stack a few of those up, and your balance will grow. And then if you can, if you see some trending action, candle action here, maybe you buy it top of the Bollinger Band. You've got some resistance here. It's only 1.5%. Don't know if I like that. If I'm gonna buy this high in the short-term range, I want to see a better potential outcome. So that does concern me. I might be more inclined to set a low, you know, maybe a support area type alert. Got support right about here, right about $1. So yeah, that's what I would do. You could, if you're willing to hold it longer, it's a more of a swing trade. Go to your 15 or 30-minute chart. You have to go to the hour. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's only up to 107 for.
I don't like it.
I'm not loving this. This risk to reward is too small in my mind, so I wouldn't trade this. Not as a day trade. Unless it dropped, like I like it better if it drops down here, and then I'd reevaluate. If it does something like this, rides to the bottom and then starts to trend up, I'd be more inclined to do it. But even then, even if we caught it here, rode it all the way to the top, 6% is pretty good. I'm not gonna complain about that. 4.8 is pretty good too. So yeah, I like it down here, but not up here. So any questions on GRT? Okay, I'll do one more sort on Altcoin Alert, then we'll look at iCoinPro. Let's sort on the short-term sentiment. What is happening now? What's the word on the street? All right, RLC I've traded before. It's bullish on short-term and long-term. So neutral on Elder Impulse hourly, bullish on Elder Impulse daily. So I like all these values. I'd like to see a better score under trading activity, but that's considered normal, is a minus 17%. And then a neutral on the AA score. So yeah, I think this is worth a look. Let's check out RLC. I do trade this one from time to time. All right, on the day, giant pump here back in May, $16, lost almost all of it, down to 2. Wow, that one really got creamed. 88%, dang. Got some of it back, but not much. Kind of just been hovering in this squeezy area between, $6, 275 and 550 on the hour. has been coming up in the last day or so, but these are all lower highs and lower lows on the hour chart. So that's a concern, but not a deal breaker. 5 minute doesn't look that good. Looks kind of squeezy here. It's at the top. Yeah, very squeezy, not even 2% between the bands. I don't have a real good retrace. It's only up to 432. So if it hits the SMA line and bounces up, maybe I catch it here. It's only 1.4% to the short-term higher high. You know, that's not really enough to justify that move, I think. Got support down here. About 417. So if you caught it down here, you're about 3% and change up to this recent high. Again, that's not enough in my mind. So I don't like this trade. So what have we learned? I kind of do like Axie. Lena, maybe. See, we never did look at ICP. We think that one's played out probably. It's still very bullish at 14%. Let's look at this real quick. Very interesting. Yeah, this one, feel bad for anyone who paid this kind of money for it. Crashed all the way down, 90+%. On the hour, it's been trading in the like 30s to 50s lately. I trade this occasionally. Big pump today though.
Maybe we should short it.
You know, I was looking at it. We're going to look at some. We're going to look at some things. Unfortunately, see, where can you short ICP? I think it's only on Binance as far as derivatives. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't think it's on like Bybit or Femex, but it might be.
Are we talking about ICP?
Yeah.
Garbage. Stay away.
Well, Laura wants to short it, so we love shorting garbage. I mean, my favorite coin to short's Doge. So, but again, shorting's a little bit beyond the scope of our show tonight. So let's try to stay a little focused. I know it's usually my fault because I'm the one who likes to trade leverage and especially shorting bad coins. But all right, ICP garbage, as Brooklyn says, has been pumping today inexplicably. We do have a news function here on TradingView, but it's usually woefully behind. The last thing we have is September 3rd, so that wasn't very useful. Obviously, you can look on Twitter and do some sorts too. I think you can sort AA for news. I'm not sure. I don't usually use it for that purpose. We haven't discussed significant developments yet. Those are important on the Slack group. Two situations. Let's finish ICP, then we'll go back to that. All right, so we're on the 5 minute chart. It's pumped really way beyond any kind of entry point, I think. I'm not sure what to do with this. Could set an alert down, and there's some really strong short-term support here. Right around $44. So if it does take a tumble and bounces off this, yeah, that would be outstanding. To, you know, double digits if you want to go all the way to the top. You know, you could even just go to the support here is your exit for nearly 6%. You know, this area here, if you got in down here. And then the second area of resistance, right around 48.90, just under $49, 10%. We love 10% trades as day traders. So Yeah, that's what I would do with that. Set an alert down here around 44. All right. I was just going to talk real quickly about the significant developments. The main one that came out was Link and the Associated Press partnership. So if you see a significant development on the Slack group with you know, a crypto, and sometimes stocks get mixed in there. But if it's a crypto and a company or an organization you've heard of, you know, most of us have heard of the Associated Press, or if it's, you know, Walmart or Google, or, you know, I had a good trade once with I think it was Stellar and the government of Ukraine or Lithuania or something like that. You know, those are good examples of partnerships that can move that coin, you know, 5 or 10%. And then
Minutes.
and actually on the partnerships, you don't need to get in as fast usually. Sometimes you do, but you can have a little bit of time to take a quick look at the coin and then, you know, make your decision. Where you do have to act very quickly is on the new coin listings. If that's where there's some value in having accounts on, you know, 3, 4, 5 different exchanges. I think all day traders, you know, I'm convinced should have a KuCoin account, because almost everything is listed on KuCoin before it makes it to Coinbase Pro or Binance. And those are the two biggies. If something's listed new on Coinbase Pro or Binance, it's going to move every single time. A lot of times the Twitter, you know, it's a little bit late, because I know the insiders get the information first, you know, and there's nothing that the TIE or Altcoin Alert can do about that. But a lot of times you can pick up, you know, 5 or 10% on those, and then it'll crash down. And then a trend we've had in this bull market is they'll come up again, you know. So I like to try to buy them right away, pick up a few percent, wait for it to drop, then buy in a second time and ride that up again. So I've only done that once or twice, because it's sort of a new strategy for me. I mean, buying immediately when I see the announcement, I've been doing that for over a year. But if I can, you know, if I can get to it in time, sometimes by the time I get to it, it's already 20 or 30% up, and I'm going, I'm too late. And then it pumps up another 20 or 30%. But you know, it depends on your risk tolerance. Don't use a lot of money, you know, on these, because they're crazy volatile. All right, let's go.
Could I add something on there real quick?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
for all the people, when you see something getting listed or a significant development or something, and then you go to try to deposit money or transfer some money, it's over already.
Yeah, it's too late.
Like you have to be inside the game to win. You have to be ready. You have to have a certain percentage in your portfolio on the exchanges in cash, ready to go when you see something. It's not, let me go trade out my ETH for this, because if it gets too clogged up, the blockchain, you'll never get in. You see this all the time with other exchanges, like you can't get in, you can't do anything, and then your hands are tied, and then, you know, you lost.
Yeah, you missed that one. So that's good advice. It's always good to have USD or USDT, at least some, waiting for good opportunities. I know a lot of you guys, you know, are hodling and swing trading, and that's all fine and good. But you know, try to keep. I think even Bryce, I don't know if he still has, you know, 20% USDT or USD on the I forgot what he calls that, the preferred list, or, you know, the coins you should hold. I forgot what it's called.
Model portfolio.
Model portfolio. Thank you. You know, you get a little older, you start forgetting stuff. But yeah, model portfolio, you should have some cash in your various exchanges. And even if you like trading Coinbase Pro, you know, Binance, whatever, it's good to have a KuCoin account too. And it's been the last few months that I've seen the value in that, and I've been, you know, and it's got some leverage on it too, some small leverage. You can, you know, dabble with that if you're comfortable, and after you master day trading, so, or spot trading. All right, let's go to iCoinPro. Now, the reason I like iCoinPro and the reason I promote this with in addition to Altcoin Alert is because I saw sort of a hole in the training here. It's why I started this this Zoom call, is that you get the AA score and you get this information. What do you do with it? So iCoinPro has that free 1, 2, 3 dip training, and if that's all you traded, you'd have some pretty good results. It has some other strategies as well, but that's the main strategy they do. They try to, and they're very conservative in their approach. So check out the free training if you want to join. That's your prerogative. I'm not going to shill it, but it's essentially how I learned to day trade, was through iCoinPro and another program that was kind of related to it. So there's two sorts I like to. iCoinPro is not only teaches a strategy, but it also has some tools you can use to find trades. Now, as spot traders, what you're going to be looking for on the RSI SPY are values below 30. These are usually oversold. When something's oversold, it generally comes back. So, but at the moment, nothing is oversold. And if you want to short something, like Laura suggested, we could look at what's overbought. So if you see if it's 70 or higher, it's usually, we consider it overbought. And if it's overbought on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the 1 day RSIs, then it's due for a correction. So I don't usually trade Bitcoin pairs, but some that are due for a correction are Rune, Algo. Trying to point out some that you guys might be more familiar with. And yeah, well, I'm not going to go through everything, but and for some of my friends in something else, Chainlink is overbought on the 4 hour and the 1 day, and almost on the 1 hour. So we'll see if that one comes down soon. All right, so that's the RSI SPY, and then the other one I like is the Buddy Coin Crawler. I sort by this column here, the average low to SMA. So that's the 24-hour low of the token, and then the percentage to the SMA line. That's the pink line that you saw between the two Bollinger Bands. I'd like to see values of 5% or higher here, but we don't have any. So we're going to look at, and I'm usually looking for good volume too, like 10 million or higher on the 24-hour volume. You can also sort by volume if you want and just get the big volume movers. Wow, look at this. Shiba Inu is just below Bitcoin on volume on Binance. That's amazing. So let's check it out. There's a drop-down menu here. It'll open a new trading view window. So on the day, big cup and handle. I think that's what this is called. It's almost recovered to its all-time high of 0.00004922. We'll just use the last 4 digits. If this ever becomes 1 penny, I think it'll be like the GDP of the USA or something, worth that, or some crazy number. But all right, on the 1 hour chart, it pumped up to 44.66, dropped 33.18, pumped again to 43.21. Now it's down in the 4100s. On the 5-minute chart, I'm with Laura on this one. I'd rather short this than actually try to trade it. But I'm not proud. I will trade something, short-term trade something I don't believe in. But just know it's going to be a short-term trade. If I buy a spot trade and it goes badly If I ladder buy 3 times and it still goes nowhere, I'll usually just pull it off an exchange and stake it somewhere, or I'll sell it for a loss if I have to. If the volume completely dries up, done that before, but I digress. So what would I do with this? There's some pretty good support here, right around 3,800. It's actually rising a little bit and didn't quite reach 3,800 on this drop. So this might be decent if you got in here and wrote it back just to where it is now. It's over 8% profit. There's quite a bit of resistance here, around 12%. So these have potential. Other than my misgivings about this meme coin, you know, purely technical analysis, that's probably what I would do, is I would set an alert down here and try to catch it. But I don't see much value in buying it above the SMA line. You know, this is just not enough profit in my mind, not enough risk reward. So I don't like it up here at the moment. Kind of like
I have a general question for you.
Okay.
Not about this coin. And I know we've got to get to our next call that starts here in a minute. But if this is my first altcoin season, so if everything is cycling up, moving up there, like that trend is showing there, where do some of our, is it worthless to look at some of the old data, or will everything always come back down eventually? Or it sure feels like it.
Yeah, people who have, you know, I've been in this for 2 years, and people like, you know, Bryce and Pizza Mine for, you know, 8 to 10 years. You know, they've seen it all, and Bryce keeps saying price has memory. So with that in mind, that's a 4-hour chart. Yeah, so well. So it's going back to where the original highs were. And then once it gets past, you know, 49.05, it'll be in price discovery. Then we have no idea what's going to happen.
Okay.
And that could happen tomorrow or the next day. I just don't really have a good answer for that. Then you start using tools like, you know, Fibonacci extensions and things like that, but they're really just semi-educated guesses. So once something's in price discovery, you don't really know where it's going to go. That's why I like retraces so much, because I think they're easy to identify, and you know, they really help me out in my exit points. And you know, if I plan the trade to buy at a dip and then, you know, sell at or slightly below resistance, I think that's a good plan. And if that, you know, if that works out, then I feel okay about that. This doesn't really answer your question though. I don't really know the answer to your question.
Well, you're right in the, it has memory. I remember hearing that quite a bit. So I don't know. I'm just curious as how some of our information, our data is really to be used at this point. So
and I think, you know, we've talked about being in a bull run and then we get a big crash, you know, we get,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
or a little crash or whatever. So,
you know, we still get, you know, it jumps up here to 57, drops down to 53, you know.
okay.
This is Bitcoin, which doesn't move, you know, nearly as much as some of the altcoins do, you know, 63 down to, you know, 58. So even though the overall trend is up, you know, we still get this and then a 10% drop, you know, off the all-time high. So
it's, yeah, but I like playing those.
yeah.
So okay. I know you haven't had an opportunity to check your mail, but you need to as soon as you finish this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll check the chat while I'm on.
Well, the chat should say the call starts at 9 and you need to be on that other call
Okay.
as our representative. So
Okay. Oh, so we have the, I'll go ahead and mention it. We have the carbon call at 9 tonight. Or is
Yeah,
that,
no, he called one and then several of us said we were on with you already. So he
Ah.
moved it to 9. So,
very well.
okay,
I didn't know that. All right.
I know you didn't. So politely doing this. So
Okay, thank you.
problem.
Evidently I have a prior engagement.
You do.
And since I started late, I'm gonna have to get over that. Yeah, a few of my people have left already. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for those of you new in Altcoin Alert. I do another Zoom on Friday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific. So if this was, a little too much or over your head, feel free to join me on that and we'll try to sort it out. That one's focused only on Altcoin Alert. And hopefully by then you will have watched the 1, 2, 3 dip training and have a better idea of what I'm talking about. For those of you who've been on quite a while, then hopefully this was helpful and some of the examples I showed was useful or were useful. So I've got to run and I'll see you on Friday or next Monday. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, CJ.
All right, bye-bye.